The morning sky over Seoul turned from blue to orange in seconds. Jin looked up from his coffee and sandwich. He sat on a bench outside the security company where he worked. Something was wrong. A dark shape blocked the sun. It was huge. Not a cloud. Not a plane. Something else. Jin stood up. His cup fell to the ground. Coffee splashed on his boots. He did not notice. His eyes stayed fixed on the sky. The shape grew larger. Now he could see it clearly. A ship. But not any ship humans had made. This was something else, something alien. Not possible, Jin whispered, but it was happening right in front of him. Jin had been in the military for 12 years. Special forces. He had seen war. He had seen death. But nothing like this. His training kicked in anyway. People around him began to notice. A woman pointed up. A man dropped his phone. A child started to cry. "Everyone get inside," Jin shouted. Now! The ship was massive, at least a mile long, black metal with blue lights. It hovered over the city, casting a shadow over thousands of buildings and millions of people. Jin helped the old man to his feet. "Get to the subway," he told him. "Go underground." The ship made no sound. That was the strangest part. Something so big should roar. It should shake the ground. But there was nothing, just silence. Then the silence broke. A beam of blue light shot down from the ship. It hit a skyscraper 2 blocks away. The building did not explode. It simply fell apart, like it was made of sand, not steel and glass. Thousands of people were inside. Screams filled the air. People ran in all directions. Jin ran toward the fallen building. Not away. Toward. He had been trained to help, to save lives. It was who he was. More beams came down. More buildings fell. The alien ship moved slowly across the sky, destroying everything under it. Jin reached the pile of rubble that had been a skyscraper minutes before. He began digging with his bare hands. He found a woman trapped under a desk. He pulled her free. "Can you walk?" he asked. She nodded, crying. "Get to the subway tunnels," Jin told her. "Help others if you can." Jin dug out 6 more people, each time telling them the same thing. Get underground. Help others. He was lifting a concrete slab when he heard it. A humming sound. Not from the big ship. From behind him. Jin turned. A smaller ship had landed in the street. A door opened. They stepped out. They looked almost human. But they were not human. Their skin was blue. They were tall. Taller than any human Jin had ever seen. Most were female with strong bodies and fierce eyes. They wore armor that seemed to glow with the same blue light as their ship. Jin counted 8 of them. They carried weapons. Not guns exactly. More like spears that glowed with energy. People ran from the blue warriors. The warriors did not chase them. They seemed to be looking for something. Or someone. One of the blue women was clearly the leader. She was the tallest. Her armor had more designs on it. A red mark crossed her face, some kind of war paint or scar. Jin should have run. He knew that. But there were still people trapped. In the rubble. He kept digging. The blue warriors spotted him. They moved toward him with long, easy steps. They did not hurry. They did not need to hurry. Jin stood up. He was covered in dust and sweat. His hands were bleeding from digging through sharp rubble. He looked at the aliens, and they looked at him. "I need to help these people," Jin said clearly, pointing to the rubble. He knew they probably did not understand his words, but maybe they would understand his actions. The leader tilted her head. She said something in a language Jin did not know. It was full of clicks and long vowels. 2 of the warriors moved forward. They reached for Jin. Jin's training took over. He did not think. He moved. He dodged the first alien's grab. His elbow hit her throat. She fell back, surprised. The second alien swung her energy spear at him. Jin dropped and rolled. He came up behind her and struck hard at the back of her knee. She fell. The other warriors raised their weapons. The leader held up her hand. They stopped. She spoke again. This time a small device on her armor made sounds after she finished speaking. "You fight well," said the device in rough Korean. "For a human." Jin did not answer. He watched her, ready to move if needed. "I am Commander Nari of the Vesh Empire," the alien woman said through her translator. "We have claimed this world." "There are 7 billion of us," Jin said. "You can't claim us all." Nari laughed. The sound was strange coming from her blue throat. "We don't want you all," she said. "Just the useful ones." She moved faster than Jin expected. Much faster. Her hand caught his throat and lifted him off the ground. Jin struck at her arm, her face, her throat. Nothing worked. Her skin was tougher than human skin. Her muscles were stronger. "This one has spirit," Nari said to her warriors. "He will join my collection." Jin could not breathe. Black spots filled his vision. He kept fighting until darkness took him. Jin woke up in a small metal room. His head hurt. His throat hurt worse. He touched it and felt something there. A collar. Metal and smooth. He could not find any way to remove it. The room moved slightly. Jin realized he was on a ship. The alien ship. He was no longer on Earth. A door opened. Commander Nari stood there looking down at him. She seemed even taller now in the small room. "You are awake, human," she said. Her translator made her words clear. "Good. Where am I?" Jin asked. His voice was rough from his bruised throat. "You are on the Vesh mothership," Nari said, "in orbit around your world." "Why am I here?" Nari smiled. Her teeth were white against her blue skin. "You are my property now," she said. "My battle slave." "I am no one's slave," Jin said. Nari touched a small device on her wrist. Pain shot through Jin's collar. He fell to his knees, gasping. "You will learn," Nari said. "The Vesh Empire has conquered 100 worlds. Yours is just one more." When the pain stopped, Jin looked up at her. He said nothing, but in his mind he made a promise. He would find a way out. He would find a way home. "Come," Nari said. "I will show you your new life." Jin stood slowly. He followed her out of the room. The ship stretched endlessly in all directions. Through a window he saw Earth below. Beautiful. Blue. So far away. He was alone among the stars, a captive of an alien empire. But Jin had survived wars before. He would survive this too. And maybe, just maybe, he would find a way to fight back. Jin learned quickly that the Vesh ship was a world of its own. It had many levels filled with thousands of blue-skinned aliens. And it had rules. Many rules. The first rule was simple. Obey or feel pain. The collar around Jin's neck made sure of that. Jin shared a small room with 7 other beings. None were human. They came from planets Jin had never heard of. All wore the same collar. All were battle slaves. "You are new," said one of them on Jin's first night. His skin was red and rough like stone. His name was Bach. "You will not last long." "How long have you been here?" Jin asked. 3 cycles, Bach said. "I am the longest living slave of Commander Nari. Others before you died in training or matches." Jin said nothing. He watched. He listened. He learned. Every morning the slaves were taken to a large room. The Vesh called it the training pit. There Commander Nari and other Vesh leaders watched their slaves fight. Not to death, Bach explained. Just until one cannot stand. Vesh do not waste good slaves in practice. Jin's first fight was against a slave with 4 arms. Each arm held a short blade. The alien was fast, but Jin was faster. Jin did not try to win. He only tried to watch how the alien moved, how the Vesh watched, what made them cheer, what made them bored. The 4-armed fighter cut Jin's arm and leg. Jin fell down. The fight was over. "Weak human," said Nari loud enough for all to hear. As expected. But Jin was not weak. He was learning. Days passed. Jin fought different slaves. Sometimes he lost on purpose. Sometimes he won, but never too easily. He wanted the Vesh to think he was average. Not special. Not worth watching too closely. But Jin was watching them very closely. He noticed that Vesh warriors were strong and fast, stronger and faster than humans. But they had weak spots. Their blue skin was thick, but the spots where it folded, at the neck, behind the knees, under the arms, were softer. And they were proud. Too proud. They thought they were better than all other beings. This made them careless. They did not expect tricks or new moves. One day after training, a new slave was brought in, a human woman with short black hair. She was put in a different slave group, but Jin saw her across the eating area. The next day, Jin lost his fight on purpose. He was sent to the medical room to fix his cuts. The human woman was there too. "You're from Earth," Jin said quietly, making sure no guards were listening. "Yes," she said. "My name is Sue. I was a police officer in Seoul." "I'm Jin. How long have you been here?" 2 weeks, I think. It's hard to tell time here." "Have you seen other humans?" Jin asked. "A few," Sue said. "They keep us apart. They don't want us working together." A guard came in. They stopped talking. But now Jin knew he was not the only human. That gave him hope. Over the next days, Jin began to watch Commander Nari more carefully. She was different from other Vesh. She was smarter. She noticed things others missed. One day after Jin won a fight, Nari called him to her private area. It was large and full of strange objects from many worlds. "You improve, human," she said. "Slowly, but you improve." "Thank you, Commander," Jin said, keeping his eyes down like a good slave. "The Festival of Champions comes soon," Nari said. "The biggest event for the Vesh. All commanders show their best slaves in combat." Jin said nothing. "You will fight in the festival," Nari said. "You will probably die, but you will bring me honor by fighting well." "Yes, Commander," Jin said. Nari walked around Jin slowly, looking at him like he was an animal at a market. "Humans are weak compared to most species," she said. "But you are interesting. You watch everything. You think before you move." Jin stayed silent. Had she noticed his act? Did she know he was studying the Vesh, looking for weaknesses? "The other commanders laugh at me for keeping humans," Nari continued. "They think you are too fragile, too soft." She stopped in front of Jin. She was 2 heads taller than him. Her blue face had a new scar across her cheek from a recent battle. "Show me how you fight," she said. "Really fight, not the weak show you put on in the training pit." Jin hesitated. This was dangerous. If he showed his real skills, she might become more careful around him. But if he refused, she would punish him. "I wait, human," Nari said, her hand moving to the control for his collar. Jin nodded. "I need a partner to show you." Nari called a guard in. "Fight him," she told Jin. "Do not hold back." The guard was big, even for a Vesh. He smiled, showing sharp teeth. He clearly thought this would be easy. Jin took a deep breath. Then he moved. He was faster than the guard expected. Jin struck first at the Vesh's throat, not hard enough to really hurt him, but enough to surprise him. Then Jin moved behind him, striking the back of the guard's knee. The guard fell to one knee. He swung back with his arm, but Jin was already gone, moving to the side. 3 more quick strikes, all to weak spots Jin had identified. The guard tried to stand, but fell back down. Jin stepped away. The whole fight had taken less than 20 seconds. Nari's eyes were wide. Then she laughed, a deep, real laugh. "You have been playing a game with us, human," she said. Jin shook his head. "No, Commander, I have been learning." "Learning what?" "How to survive." Nari dismissed the guard, who left quickly, embarrassed by his loss. "You are more valuable than I thought," Nari said. "At the festival, you will fight my rival's best slaves. If you win, your life will be better." "And if I lose?" Jin asked. Then you die, Nari said simply. But you will not shame me by dying too quickly. After that day, Jin's training changed. Nari watched him more closely. She made him fight her best slaves, and sometimes she fought him herself. Jin was careful during these fights with Nari. He showed some skill but always lost to her. He wanted her to think she could easily defeat him if needed. But each time they fought, Jin learned more about how Nari moved, where her balance was weak, how she attacked when angry, all things he stored away in his mind. One night, Jin managed to talk to Sue again. The festival is in 2 days, he whispered. Something big will happen there. What are you planning? Sue asked. I'm not sure yet, Jin said. But be ready. Keep your eyes open for a chance. Sue nodded. I'll spread the word to other humans. The next day, Jin rested. He prepared his mind for what was coming. He did not know if his plan would work. He did not even know if he would survive. But he knew one thing. The Vesh had made a mistake bringing him here, and he would make them regret it. The day of the festival arrived. Jin woke early. His body felt tight with worry, but his mind was clear. Today, everything would change. He just didn't know how. Guards came and took all battle slaves to a special room. There, they were washed and given new clothes. The clothes were simple but clean. Each slave wore the colors of their master. Jin's outfit was dark blue with red marks. Commander Nari's colors. A guard painted the same marks on Jin's face. For Commander Nari, the guard said, you bring her honor today. Jin saw Sue across the room. She wore green and black, the colors of a different Vesh commander. Their eyes met briefly. Sue gave a small nod. She was ready for whatever might happen. The slaves were led to a large area Jin had never seen before. It was huge, like a sports stadium on Earth. But this one was inside the ship. Thousands of Vesh sat in rows around a central fighting area. They were loud, excited, ready for blood. Jin and the other slaves were put in small rooms around the edge of the fighting area. Through a clear wall, Jin could see everything. High above the fighting floor was a special seat. On it sat the biggest Vesh Jin had ever seen. She had dark blue skin and many scars. Her armor shined with gold and gems. This had to be the High Commander, the leader of all Vesh. Commander Nari approached the High Commander's seat and bowed deeply. Other commanders did the same. They were all showing respect before the games began. A loud sound filled the stadium. The festival had begun. The first fights were between lower-ranked slaves. Jin watched carefully. The fights were violent but had rules. When a slave could not continue, the fight ended. Some slaves died, but not many. Dead slaves were bad investments. Jin's fight was scheduled for later. He sat quietly, saving his energy. In his mind, he went over everything he had learned about Vesh weaknesses. A guard came to Jin's room. Prepare yourself, human. You fight next. Jin stood and stretched his muscles. He was ready. But then something strange happened. The guard received a message on his device. He looked surprised. Change of plans, the guard said. Commander Nari has a special announcement. Jin was led not to the fighting floor but to a waiting area. From there, he could see Commander Nari standing in the center of the arena. She was speaking to the crowd. Today I bring you something special, Nari's voice boomed. We all know humans are weak. They are not worthy opponents. But they can be amusing. The crowd laughed. To honor our High Commander, Nari continued, I will demonstrate the weakness of humans myself. I will fight my own battle slave. A shock went through the crowd. This was not normal. Commanders did not fight their own slaves in the arena. Jin felt his heart beat faster. This was not what he expected. But maybe it was better. Maybe this was his chance. The guard pushed Jin forward. He walked onto the fighting floor. The lights were bright. The noise of the crowd hit him like a wave. Nari smiled at Jin. It was not a kind smile. Do not worry, human. I will make it quick. The High Commander leaned forward in her seat, interested in this unusual show. Nari spoke to the crowd again. I will defeat this human in under 1 minute. Their species is that weak. The crowd roared with approval. Jin looked up at the thousands of blue faces. They all expected to see him beaten easily. They all believed humans were no match for the mighty Vesh. They were wrong. A sound rang out. The fight had begun. Nari moved toward Jin with confidence. She was strong. She was fast. She had never lost a fight. Jin stood still, his head slightly bowed, looking defeated already. It was an act. His final act. When Nari was 3 steps away, Jin moved. He was faster than anyone expected, especially Nari. He stepped to the side just as she reached for him. Her hand grabbed air. Jin struck hard at the soft spot behind Nari's knee. She stumbled but didn't fall. The crowd gasped. Nari turned, now angry. Lucky move, human. You're last. She attacked again, faster this time. But Jin was ready. He ducked, under her arm, and struck at her side, right where the blue skin folded under her arm. Nari grunted in pain. Her eyes went wide with surprise. The stadium was silent now. No one had expected the human to land even 1 hit, let alone 2. Jin did not waste the moment of surprise. He moved in close, too close for Nari to use her long arms effectively. He struck 3 more times at weak spots he had identified in their training sessions. Nari tried to grab him, but Jin was not there. He had already moved behind her. He kicked hard at the back of her legs. Nari fell to 1 knee. The crowd made no sound. They could not believe what they were seeing. Jin moved in front of Nari. She swung at him with all her strength. It was a move Jin had seen many times. He stepped inside her reach and struck her throat, not hard enough to kill but enough to stun. Nari's eyes bulged. She could not breathe. Jin finished with a strike to a spot on her chest, a nerve cluster he had identified during their training. Nari's body went stiff. She fell backward onto the floor, unable to move. The fight was over. Jin stood over Nari, breathing hard. He had won. A timekeeper's voice broke the silence. Fight time, 30 seconds. The stadium erupted in chaos. Some Vesh stood and shouted in anger. Others sat in shocked silence. The High Commander leaned forward, her eyes fixed on Jin with intense interest. Guards rushed onto the fighting floor. They surrounded Jin, weapons ready. Jin did not resist. He had made his point. Humans were not weak. Humans were not to be underestimated. The High Commander raised her hand. The guards stopped. The crowd fell silent again. Bring the human to me, the High Commander's voice boomed across the stadium. The guards led Jin to the High Commander's platform. He stood before the leader of the Vesh Empire, a simple human who had just shattered their belief in Vesh superiority. The Diu. High Commander studied Jin for a long moment. Then she spoke, her voice carrying to every corner of the stadium. In all my years, I have never seen a commander defeated by a battle slave, she said, especially not in 30 seconds. Jin said nothing. He stood straight, meeting the High Commander's gaze. Do you know our oldest law, human? She asked. Jin shook his head. Any warrior who defeats a commander in fair combat may claim their rank and possessions, the High Commander said. A murmur went through the crowd. By our law, you are now a commander, the High Commander said. Jin could not hide his surprise. This was not what he expected. What is your name, human? The High Commander asked. Jin, he answered. Commander Jin, the High Commander said, testing the words. The first human commander in the Vesh Empire. Jin looked back at where Nari was being helped to her feet. Their eyes met across the arena. Her face showed many emotions, anger, shame, and something else. Respect. The Festival of Champions continued, but everything had changed. A human had defeated a Vesh commander in 30 seconds. Nothing would ever be the same. Jin's new life as a Vesh commander began strangely. He was given Nari's rooms, her slaves, and her rank. The other Vesh commanders did not like this, but they could not argue with their oldest law. Jin's first order was simple. Remove the collars from all human slaves on this ship. The Vesh who worked for him did not want to do this. But Jin was now a commander. They had to obey. Soon, 20 humans stood in Jin's new command room. They looked confused and scared. Jin understood. Yesterday they were slaves, today they were free. I know you all want to go home, Jin said to them. I do too. But we need to be smart. We are still on a Vesh ship. Sue stepped forward. What's your plan? First we learn, Jin said. Each of you will work with me. We will show the Vesh that humans are not just strong in fights. We are smart. We can help them. Help them? A man asked angrily. They attacked Earth. They made us slaves. Jin nodded. Yes, and if we fight directly, we will lose. There are thousands of them and only a few of us. We need to change how they see humans. It was not easy. The first days as commander were hard. The other Vesh tested Jin. They gave him difficult problems. They hoped he would fail. But Jin did not fail. He studied Vesh technology. He learned their language. He showed that humans could learn quickly and solve problems in new ways. One day, Jin was called to see the High Commander. He went alone, though Sue wanted to go with him. The High Commander's room was huge. It had items from 100 different worlds. Jin stood tall as the High Commander looked at him. You surprise us, human Jin, she said. Many thought you would. Fail as commander. I thought you might try to escape or fight. Fighting more would not help Earth, Jin said simply. The High Commander nodded. Smart, very smart. But what do you want, human Jin? Why do you work so hard to learn our ways? Jin took a deep breath. This was his chance. I want a deal between humans and Vesh. The High Commander laughed. A deal? We are conquerors. We take what we want. Yes. But what if working together gave you more? Jin asked. Humans are different from other species you have met. We adapt. We find new ways to solve old problems. The High Commander seemed interested. Show me. Jin had prepared for this. He took out a small device he had made with Vesh technology. Your ships use much power for weapons. This small change can make them use less power but shoot stronger beams. The High Commander took the device. She studied it. Her eyes widened. This is clever, very clever. Humans can offer many such ideas, Jin said, but not as slaves, as partners. Partners? The High Commander seemed amused. The Vesh do not have partners. We have servants and slaves. Then the Vesh miss many opportunities, Jin said boldly. Smart enemies become better friends. The High Commander was quiet for a long time. Jin waited. He knew pushing too hard would not work. Finally, she spoke. I will test your claim. You will train 10 of my best warriors in human fighting methods. If they improve, we will talk more about this partnership. Jin bowed. Thank you, High Commander. Over the next days, Jin worked with 10 Vesh warriors. They were proud and did not want to learn from a human. But after Jin defeated each of them using human fighting techniques, they began to listen. Jin taught them to use their opponent's strength against them. He showed them how to find weak spots. He trained them to think, not just use force. When the High Commander came to watch, she was impressed. Her warriors moved differently now. They fought smarter. They won matches they might have lost before. Interesting, the High Commander said to Jin. Very interesting. That night, someone came to Jin's room. It was Nari. She looked different without her commander armor. Smaller somehow, but still dangerous. You took everything from me, she said. Jin stood ready to defend himself. I followed your rules. I won fairly. Yes, Nari said. That is why I am here. Not for revenge. Jin was surprised. Then why? To learn, Nari said. She did something Jin never expected. She bowed to him. Teach me how you defeated me. Make me stronger. Jin studied her face. He saw no trick there. Why should I help you? Because you are smart, Nari said. You know that one friendly Vesh is better than one angry Vesh, and I can help you with the other commanders. Jin thought for a moment. Then he nodded. We start tomorrow. The next day, the High Commander called for Jin again. This time she had news. Our ships report from Earth, she said. Humans there are fighting back. Not well, but with surprising tactics. They have destroyed 2 of our smaller ships. Jin felt proud of his people, though he kept his face calm. Humans do not give up easily. So I see, the High Commander said. This makes your offer of partnership more interesting. How so? Jin asked. Fighting humans will cost many Vesh lives, the High Commander said. We would win, but at what price? If humans can be useful allies instead, perhaps that is the smarter path. Jin could hardly believe what he was hearing. You would stop the attack on Earth? If the benefits are clear, yes, the High Commander said. I am a conqueror, but I am not stupid. Why waste resources fighting when we can both gain from peace? Over the next weeks, Jin worked harder than ever. He showed the Vesh how humans could improve their technology. He brought the other freed humans in to demonstrate different skills: medicine, engineering, art, and more. Sue became Jin's top helper. She was smart and good with Vesh technology. Together, they made a strong case for human-Vesh cooperation. Nari changed too. She learned human fighting styles quickly. Soon, she began to win matches again. She and Jin developed a careful respect for each other. Not friendship exactly, but something close to it. Finally, the day came that Jin had worked for. The High Commander called all Vesh commanders together. Jin stood before them, the only human in the room. The Vesh Empire has conquered many worlds, the High Commander said. But today we try something new. I have decided to make Earth a partner world, not a conquered one. Many commanders looked angry, others seemed curious. Commander Jin will return to Earth as our first ambassador, the High Commander continued. He will help build a new relationship between Vesh and humans. Jin stepped forward. The people of Earth have much to offer the Vesh, and the Vesh have much to teach us. Together we will both be stronger. As Jin left the meeting, Nari waited for him. You have changed everything, she said. Because I underestimated you. Because you called me a slave, Jin corrected, and I proved I was much more. Nari nodded. I will never make that mistake again. 2 days later, Jin stood on a small Vesh ship heading toward Earth. Sue and the other freed humans were with him. So was Nari, who would be part of the new Vesh embassy on Earth. As the blue planet grew larger in the viewing window, Jin thought about how much had changed. 1 month ago, he had been a slave. Now he was returning home as an ambassador, bringing peace instead of war, all because an alien warrior had called him a human slave and he had crushed her in 30 seconds.